The following is a hockey podcast out of Vancouver and Surrey, British Columbia. It'll only consist of a lot of puck talk and even more BS, or in actual words, banter and satire. Enjoy, and as always, go Canucks go.
What do Filip Chytil, Martin Necas, and Luka Doncic all have in common? Think about it. And is Kyle Bowen joining the Locked On Rangers podcast? Find out in a couple minutes.
Your Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, welcome to another episode of Locked On Canucks. My name is Trevor Beggs, co-host of Locked On Canucks and also a Canucks writer currently with Daily Hive Vancouver. Before we dive into it, we got to thank you for tuning into Locked On Canucks because it is your Canucks every damn day. And we're not here without you and you and you and you and you tuning into the show. We're also not here, though, without those sponsors. And today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. New customers can bet just $5. And if you win, you'll score $200 in bonus bets. Go download the app or head to FanDuel.com to get started. Man, oh man, Filip Chytil, Chytilmania. Never mind Beatlemania. It's Chytilmania here in Vancouver, taking over the market after just one game. Are Canucks fans too high on Chytil? Never mind that. Let's talk more about what are the player comps for Filip Chytil. Who does he remind us of after diving into some of the tape and watching him play the first game for the Vancouver Canucks? We'll also get into some news regarding Carson Soucy being on the trade block. The lines ahead of tonight's game. Looks like they will not include Carson Soucy.
No way. Are you serious? Are you
That's
serious?
What it looks like. That's what it looks like based on practice this morning.
Whoa.
We'll also get it. I want to touch on one thing that I want Taka to do, both for tonight and over the next handful of games. And we'll also try to squeeze in goats of the week as well. A jam-packed show coming up. Before we get to it, let me introduce my co-host. He is no longer JT Miller's biggest fan. Kyle Bowen, how you doing, brother?
Man, oh man, but I used to be Carson Soucy's biggest fan. I didn't know he was getting healthy scratched again. That's something else. I feel as if they're protecting the asset, like they really want to get rid of that cap hit. I'm telling you, I feel like the Canucks are positioning themselves to like not know what's coming next. Like they don't know if they're going to succeed or not. And if they don't succeed, they just want the most amount of cap space. Like that's definitely one of their plans. I think it's just the easiest way for a team to reset, considering that you have cap space. You can weaponize it at the deadline. Maybe be a broker in one deal. They still have like one buyout slot. Maybe taking some, some bad contracts for some draft picks. Like the way they're positioning themselves, like again, they don't know what to expect. And if Carson Soucy is actually not only on the block but not playing tonight, boom, bam, that's something else. Anyways, we'll talk more about that in a couple minutes. But first, let's talk about the number one center of your Vancouver Canucks. Okay, Martin Necas. Filip Chytil. My bad. No, we got it. We got an interesting text message from a friend in the group chat, Uncle Ricky, saying that. That first game of Filip Chytil in a Canucks uniform reminded him of some Martin Necas. And at first I glanced at that message and I was like, yo, you know what? I kind of agree. There's a confidence to his game. There's a looseness to his game. The guy likes the puck on his stick. He likes to make plays. I know it's only been one game. He was probably, filled up with the adrenaline. Our Messiah, Don Taylor, compared him to Pavel Bure already. Like, again, there's a lot going on, but I don't mind that Martin Necas comp. Like this guy, yeah, I feel as if even if you looked at Necas' stats, I know Filip Chytil's career high is 45, but let's see what this guy can do in a full season with some offense around him, and I can see this guy be again similar to what a Martin Necas is.
Well, I think one of the main things that stood out with Filip Chytil was his speed, right? And we saw that. Both of you watched Martin Necas play for the Carolina Hurricanes, and when Martin Necas specifically was here in Vancouver when the Carolina Hurricanes beat the Canucks in overtime 4-3 back in November. Necas is an incredibly quick player, and just right off the gun, Filip Chytil looks like one of the quickest players on the Canucks roster, and that's because he's one of the quickest players in the NHL. Looking at the NHL Edge data so far this season, Chytil's top skating speed in the 92nd percentile. So, he's faster than 92% of the players in the NHL. Speed burst over 20 miles per hour, which I think is a better indicator of the speed you can retain over time. He's in the 95th percentile, so faster than 95% of skaters in the NHL. And again, one of the interesting things that stood out to me with was his offensive zone time, way down there in terms of his on ice usage so far this season. So I think there's something to be improved upon there, right? He again wasn't a go-to offensive guy with the Rangers, and I think that's why we're excited about Chytil in Vancouver, is because he's finally going to get the opportunity to be one of the guys, to be one of the top dogs. And the Martin Necas comp is really interesting to me. He got that opportunity in Carolina and seemed to not be beloved by the coach there. And that could be even the case now. Obviously, he's in Colorado, so a bit of a different situation. Finally got out of there. But with Filip Chytil, he's finally going to get that opportunity to show that he can be a top 6 NHL player.
Yeah, and again, there's so much skepticism around again the injury history and whatnot, and his health, and him not ever reaching his potential. But I'm just looking at the excitement the player plays with. He also has 2 more years at 4.5. Is it this year next? Is that what it is? Like, is that what it is, Trevor?
I believe it's no. I think it's 2 years after this year. He's at
Okay,
4.4 million.
perfect. So
yeah.
So I feel as if there's a runway here for a young guy to also set himself up for generational wealth, put a couple good seasons up together. Now the cap going up, you turn yourself into a $9 to $10 million player. Like there's some motivation there. And outside of the money, like I feel as if, again, the motivation to prove a lot of his doubters wrong and also to just prove himself right is so blatantly there. Like this guy's such an extremely well-liked guy and such a team first guy that he's willing to do whatever it takes, including risking his life. Because again, he's one concussion away to again, you don't even want to know where this guy would go if he has one more concussion, but he's willing to do whatever it takes to, again, help his team win. And again, these player comps it's something that I feel as if as a fan, I need to do just to get more of a sense of who this guy is. Because at the end of the day, he's Filip Chytil, the individual, right? Like you can't, I just want him to be Filip Chytil, but to get a better sense of what I saw after one game and whatnot, it's kind of easier for me to foreshadow what he could become by comparing him to other players. And this is another one that I thought of, and this is crazy. Me and Sam O'Brien, maybe I'm Kyle O'Brien, maybe we brothers, but look at this, okay? He's saying who's faster, current Filip Chytil or rookie EP40? I'm not going to lie, man. Filip Chytil in that first game, the way he was attacking, and Pettersson's not the smallest guy, too. Like, he's a pretty tall, lengthy guy. Like, he kind of reminded me of Elias Pettersson, like early Elias Pettersson, that looselessness. I'm not going to front.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think that's an interesting comparable. And again, a lot of hype about Filip Chytil. I was just kind of curious to look back in the numbers too. I mean, obviously Filip Chytil, 25 years old now, missed all but 10 games last season due to injury. But back as a 23-year-old, that's when he had his his breakout season, more or less, right? 22 goals, 45 points in 74 games. Now, I'm looking at a couple guys in terms of what they produced at the same age, and one is Martin Necas. Chytil actually outscored Martin Necas in his 23-year-old season. Necas had his breakout at 24. Of course, that was a year Chytil comparably was injured for, played in missed all but 10 games. And then Necas took a step back at 25 before really breaking out this year at 26. So, I think stylistically there's something to be said about Necas and Chytil. Another one that I think he's always going to be tied to the hip with this player, but it's JT Miller. And yeah, of course, in terms of style, not the same players. We've mentioned that before, but in terms of the career trajectory and the career arc, there could be some similarities here. Did the Rangers potentially give up on another JT Miller to get a 32-year-old JT Miller? I think that still is a debate, but JT Miller also had, I guess more or less a breakout season or a career best season at the time at age 23, 22 goals and 56 points. So again, more of that playmaking ability, whereas Chytil is, of course, a shoot first guy, but both guys hit that 22 goal mark at the age of 23. And then JT Miller, by the time he was 24, got traded at the age of 25. He was 47 points in 75 games, so didn't really break out until 26. So I do wonder with Chytil here in Vancouver, again, he's going to be one of the most fascinating players to watch here down the stretch to see if he can have that breakup potential. And again, we're getting excited about one game. I do want to mention just
why not,
quickly
though?
looking at.
Well, sorry to cut you off, but why not get excited after one game? I mean, for me personally, it's been such a stressful year as a Canucks fan. It really has. Especially because of the expectations and the disappointment, and also just dealing with all the injuries and the what ifs, and just honestly speaking, this is like a season from hell. So if I'm gonna over-exaggerate. I'm going to over-exaggerate. If I'm going to smoke that Chytil pack right to the dome, pack it in a bowl and just take it all, I'm going to do it. And I'm going to get high off of it. And right now, I'm going to hope the best, man. I'm going to hope the best from a player that Larry Brooks is really high of. Andrew Chelney, go check out yesterday's episode. Like, he's really high on Filip Chytil. Like, some Rangers fans out there, they're not happy that they traded Filip Chytil. Like, this team already gave up Capo Caco. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they probably want to, like, you know, just be more patient with this guy too. And here we are having him. And in one game where he played with Connor Garland and Dakota Joshua, the dude was our best player. So I don't know. I'm willing to be proven wrong based on where I was on Friday. And I'm praying that it happens. And again, Chytil seems like a likable guy. So I want all the best for this guy individually and for the team.
Yeah, 100%. And again, I think there's always going to be tied at the hip with Miller. There's something to be said about that trajectory. Very comparable to Necas. Another name I wanted to bring up, and this is a bit of a deep dive, and this is his top player comp, according to Hockey Reference, which has some flaws to this metric, but I wanted to mention it, as Tim Connolly. And I know that's a bit of a deep dive, former Buffalo Sabre, really strong second-line center who also battled a lot of injuries. But Tim Connolly, at the same age, was producing – starting to produce around a point per game mark at the age of 24, 25, 26, and onwards. And of course, injuries derailed his career, but you started to see the breakout around the same age that Chytil's in right now. Again, this should be a guy who's entering the prime of his career, who's about to get a boatload of more ice time. And again, I think there is a sky-high limit here for Filip Chytil in Vancouver.
I love it, man. And this is what happens, man. You know, you just take time to heal all wounds. And I'm getting closer and closer to removing JT from my life, okay? And Filip Chytil
Don't be so quick to walk away.
Wanna fuck your body. Filip Chytil, man, rock my body. I mean, rock my heart.
Oh, God
no,
damn.
That's what I meant. Rock my heart. Okay, no, not rock my body. Okay? Rock my heart. No, okay, no. Okay. Okay, you know what? On the other side, I want to go on a rant because I just found out that Quinn Hughes is not playing tonight. He's still hurt. Trying to brush this off, saying, "Oh, like it's a good thing because this guy also needs some rest outside of just healing from this bump and bruise or whatever this is." Again, the agent for Quinn Hughes referred to this injury not being serious, but I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. Again, I'm going back and forth on this whole thing, but if he's missing games on the week prior to the Four Nations tournament, and we're still like 2 points out of a playoff spot, I want to see this guy play amongst the best and get better and play meaningful games and whatnot. But it's so obvious that he should not be going to the Four Nations tournament.
Yeah, in a lot of ways, it has been the season from hell from the Vancouver Canucks. And
what are the chances that we make this trade? We get Marcus Pettersson too, and now Quinn Hughes is hurt. It's like, what the is going on with this team, man?
Yeah, no Quinn Hughes, and Carson Soucy still can't get into the lineup. More about that on the other side, including lineups of what a Carson Soucy trade could look like. You're listening to Locked On Canucks, your Canucks every damn day. We'll be back on the other side after shouting at our friends over at FanDuel. If you're placing bets on sports, you know the place you got to go is FanDuel, baby, because FanDuel, they give you great odds. They got an app that's so damn easy to use. I can even figure out how to use it, man. And that's saying something. Not the sharpest tool in the shed, not the brightest guy in the world. But hey, I've hit a few good bets on FanDuel. And right now, if you're a new customer, you can place a bet for just $5 and get potentially win $200 in bonus bets, okay? And again, the FanDuel, their official partner of Super Bowl 59, they're doing it all, baby. And again, I just want to look at the game tonight, the Vancouver Canucks, the Colorado Avalanche. Of course, the Vancouver Canucks, even though they're at home, they're underdogs on the line, plus 130. So if you're liking the Canucks in this one, hey, they are underdogs in this matchup. No Quinn Hughes by the looks of it. And another bet I've been liking in almost any Canuck game right now, the over-under. The Canucks are hitting the under in the majority of their games right now. Right now, the over-under set at 5.5 goals. If you think there'll be 5 goals or less, place a bet on the under. Payout is minus 106. So basically, better odds, a little bit better odds than betting the over right now. Vancouver Canucks aren't scoring many goals. Hey, maybe something different's going to happen tonight. More about Pettersson and Besser on the other side. But whatever bet you're placing, make sure you go place it on FanDuel.com.
Man, oh man, Quinn. I need to go to therapy, man. Okay, we back doing this, and that's talking about your Vancouver Canucks. My name's Kyle Bowen. That right there is the second best dad in the world, and we're trying to have fun in this episode, right? We just compared Filip Chytil to Martin Necas, JT Miller, Tim Connolly, a young Elias Pettersson. Don Taylor said Pavel Bure, and here we are, 16 minutes into the episode, and now we got to get pissed off again because Quinn Hughes is hurt. Like, he's legitimately hurt. I feel as if he's been hurt for like multiple months, and now something else is wrong. And yeah, like this is it. You know, like now, Trevor. You know what I'm trying to do right now? I'm trying not to get mad at Alvin and Rutherford for shitting the bed and just acquiring like the most horrible defenseman this offseason. Because boom, bam, from the get go, game one of this season, we've been playing Quinn Hughes 27, 28, 26, 56 minutes a game, and it's catching up. The amount of minutes this guy plays is literally catching up. You cannot call me a pessimistic dude, a negative guy. Since April, this guy's been banged up. Let's be honest and let's be real. It's sad. It sucks. This sucks, man. This season sucks, man.
Yeah, I just feel like it would be Canucks luck for Quinn Hughes to go and play the Four Nations and get injured. And I mean,
dude, he's gonna get injured, Trevor. Can we just have this conversation? I'm sorry. You hear like Canadians are booing the American anthem. Now Americans are booing the Canadian anthem. Okay, Nashville booed the Canadian anthem last. Nashville, the friendliest place. Now they're booing the Canadian anthem. Then you got U.S. and Canada playing a game. Come on, man. You know this is gonna feel like game one of round one of the playoffs. And Quinn Hughes, who's behind the net most of the time? It's Quinn Hughes. He's going to play 20-plus minutes of the game for the United States of America. He's going to want it for sure. But, man, oh, man, he's going to get hit. He's going to get hit a lot in an all-star charity tournament. Like, again, I'm trying to be kind because I know he wants to play this tournament with his bro, and it means a lot for the Americans, okay? They actually want to do this. They actually want to prove to the hockey world that they're 6 goals better than Team Canada. Like, they want to kick their ass. I get it. It's a big moment for that country. But, I don't know, man. You want to lead by example? The best way to lead by example is being on the ice and making sure the boys in that room know where your priorities are. And if I'm Quinn Hughes, dude, this team needs you to catch up in the playoff race, and they're not playing you because they're scared you're going to get hurt more. You come on. You cannot play in this tournament, man.
Yeah, and we'll see what happens. I mean, it sounds like by all accounts he wants to play, and you can understand why. Again, you look at it from his point of view, his brother's in the tournament. Look at all the turmoil that's gone out of Vancouver. I mean, look, I know you and I, and you would love to see Quinn Hughes likely pull to this tournament, rest up, get ready to carry the Canucks to the playoffs. But yeah, the fact of the matter is, he wants to play in this tournament. I mean, there's no doubt about that. So again, they got the Colorado Avalanche tonight. They play the Sharks Thursday, the Leafs on Saturday. Yeah, I mean, if he suits up in one of these last 2 games against the Sharks or the Leafs, I can almost bet you he's going to play in this tournament.
Bro, and this is what we get. You know, we boo the American anthem. I know Quinn Hughes didn't play in that game, but you gotta know, like, we're all human beings. Like, bro, come on. This guy's probably like, okay, they booing our anthem. I know he doesn't take it that personally. I'm not saying he takes it personally. I know he's a smart guy. He understands that it's political, but it's like, oh, you want to boo our anthem? Just watch. I'm gonna make you boo your own anthem in a couple of weeks. Man, oh man. Just if you're going to the game tonight, do not boo the anthem, man. I'm sorry. Like, just don't do it. You booing the anthem?
Kyle, should you and I go to the game tonight and we'll cheer the American national anthem?
Oh, buddy. You should just bring an American flag. Unreal, dude. Unreal. And again, I'm not saying Quinn Hughes is hurt legitimately for a long time, but again, he's already playing with a damn Iron Man wrist, like this mechanism on his effing hand, like, and now he's like banged up, you know. And bro, come on, man. Anyways, Carson Soucy on the block. Like, I guess he's playing tonight. Bro, you got to play Carson Soucy tonight. I'm sorry. If Quinn Hughes is not playing, you playing Carson Soucy tonight. Right?
Yeah, so let's talk about the morning skate lines. They are identical to what we saw against the Detroit Red Wings on Sunday. So you had DeBrusk, Pettersson, Besser, Joshua Hedel, Garland, O'Connor, Suter, Sherwood, Hoglander, Bluger, and Carlson. On D, you have Forbort and Hronik, Marcus Pettersson and Myers. And on the third pairing, you got D. Petey and Noah Juleson. Carson Soucy and newcomer Vittoro Mancini skated on the fourth pairing at practice. And
Damn.
again, reports coming out today that Carson Soucy is on the block. Kyle, I want to get your thoughts on this because Carson Soucy has a full no trade clause. For those who don't know, his wife just gave birth to twins in September. I mean, I get the sense that this guy does not want to waive, does not want to move with a couple of, newborn twins in the family. I feel like if this report is true, it's the Canucks leaking it out to try to get Carson Soucy to waive.
Yeah.
The case. I mean, like, what are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, because that strategy's worked before this season. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Like, I think, again, some pundits around the league are starting to realize that the Canucks are not that good. And they may be trying to, again, make up for this season by being, again, a broker in some trades, weaponizing cap space at the deadline. You know what I'm saying? Picking up draft picks, and you get rid of an extra $3.25 million. It means a lot. And they're seeing strides in DPD. They're going to bring Willander in next season too. It's pretty jam-packed back there. It's just the truth. And again, Soucy's been bad. Maybe they signed this guy to a 3-year deal worth that much because and it's not a lot. It's close to $10 million, but $3.25 a year. But maybe they assumed that in years 2 and 3 that he'd take a step and he'd be a bit of a bridge for DPD, Willander, help Myers out. But he's just been so bad this season. Let's be honest. He's been equally as bad as Vincent Desharnais and Noel Juulsen. I gotta say it. This guy's been so bad this season, so inconsistent, and maybe he's not. Yo, Trevor, come on, okay? You're a dad too. You've been a new dad twice. Imagine having two twins at the same time. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he's not sleeping well. Who knows? It's a real life ish. I get it, but I'm just a part of me is yo, you got to play this guy out of his struggles. Maybe he can find his way back into form if he's a number 5, number 6 defenseman, and he's solid and he's clean and his matchups are lighter. And at the same time, it's could they get a 3rd round pick for him, a 2nd round pick? Could they get off that cap? I'm all over the place, man. Season sucks, bro.
Oh, come on, man. We got a game against Colorado Avalanche tonight. We're on the precipice of the playoffs.
We got a game against Colorado.
We're
23 minutes into this episode. I'm sorry, man. You want to talk about Seuss? You want to talk about Hughes being hurt? Boom, bam. It's okay, Elias Pettersson. Not Elias. I didn't say Elias Pettersson. Leave Elias Pettersson alone. Elias Pettersson, another chance. Another chance. You care about this team? Dig deep. Look in your heart, okay? Let's not wait till there's 15 minutes left in the 3rd period for you to wake up and do something. You play McKinnon and McCarr. The team needs 2 points. Can we just emphasize that again? We're in must-win territory. This team's been so inconsistent. Do you want to go into the Four Nations tournament 5 points out of a playoff spot? No, you don't. Let's win. And let's win at home ice, too, but come on. Elias Pettersson stepped up today, man. Come on. I'm sorry. I know we're talking about
and there have been some pretty interesting Besser Pettersson moments against Colorado in the past, right? I remember that game from maybe Pettersson's sophomore year where he scores with a minute remaining, and then the Canucks go and win in overtime. Obviously, Besser had that nice goal, I think, on the long bang pass from Pettersson or Miller. These two have shown against the Colorado Avalanche before. I know both are pushing a point a game against the Avs. I think Pettersson's 13 points in 15 games. Don't have Besser in front of me, but I looked at it earlier. I want to say 15 points in 17 games. So, but I mean, Kyle, like we talked about on the post-game show, it is time for these two to step up. Now, there's something else I do want to say about the Pettersson-Besser line. I want to touch on the other side, along with Goats and some comments. Last note on Soucy, you mentioned a 2nd or a 3rd round pick. I think a 2nd is extremely far-fetched and not realistic for what he has provided this season. I think a third round pick is probably the ceiling for what you can expect. I mean, Oli Mata was moved from Detroit to Utah for a 3rd round pick this season. So, I mean, Carson Soucy was good last year, and he's in that same mold as Oli Mata, except he struggled a lot more this season. So I think a 3rd round pick is the best you could hope for. 4th round pick's probably more realistic, especially with no retention. There's not a lot of teams with $3.25 million in cap space who would want to acquire a defenseman like Soucy. Just looking at it right now, based on Puckpedia, The Rangers, Utah, the Sabres, the Sharks, the Predators, the Ducks, the Flames, and the Blue Jackets are the only teams with more than $3.25 million of cap space. The Jets have $2.1 million in cap space. They're a team that I think might be a fit for Soucy. They have Logan Stanley, their bottom pairing, who struggled a lot. They don't seem to trust Ville Heinola, so that's maybe a team to watch there. But yeah, I'd be interested to see what a potential Soucy trade looks like. But that's kind of what I'm thinking: third or fourth round pick, or maybe a younger roster player who's also kind of mid level is what you can expect.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's pause for a break here on the other side. We'll get to some of your comments. Coach of the week, and I want to say,
sorry, Trevor. I know we're a bit laggy here, but I need to go grab some coffee because I'm stressed out, man. My head hurts. My life hurts.
All right, sounds good, buddy. Okay, we'll be back on the other side here on Locked On Canucks. All right, we're back here on Locked On Canucks. Your Canucks every damn day. And we got to give it to the people, man, because the people, we're not here without you. All right, let's go to Dan Jardy in the comments. Pettersson, Soucy, and Besser for Jack and Luke Hughes. Man, oh man, if only the Devils would say yes to that. That would be something else.
But on that point, Trevor, like I said it before, like a realistic benchmark for Pettersson to get to in order to like save the franchise. I know JP Barry told us to relax. Like Quinn Hughes isn't going anywhere for like 700 days. Relax, right? But the realistic benchmark is for Elias Pettersson to not just get better, but get better than Jack Hughes. Like be a top 5 guy again. Okay, put yourself in that like, oh, this guy's like right below McDavid and Draisaitl. Like get him back up there. It's the truth. We need that. And we need that. Look at this comment from Calder Kid PD. I'm sorry, okay? I'm all over the place, okay? I've been at the hospital. Maybe it's my medicines, okay? He's like, Kyle, you need to take a chill pill. 1 minute you're all PD giver-ish. The next time this is all on PD. So I'm gonna say, what the F has Besser done and DeBrusk done? Dude, you take Besser's contract and DeBrusk's contract and you combine it, it's like Pettersson's almost making more. Dude, it's like, it's okay to put the pressure on Pettersson, man. And like, yo, Trevor, can I bring this up too? Like everyone on Twitter, you always see this. Oh, like Rick Tocchet's system is slowing down Elias Pettersson. People are talking too much shit about Elias Pettersson. Look at his defensive metrics. Okay, you want to brag about his defensive metrics? A, remember when Michael Del Zotto led the whole league in hits with the Canucks? Okay, cool. All right. B, you want to brag about this guy's defensive metrics? Go shut down McKinnon tonight. Help us win the game tonight.
Yeah, 100%. And I think I want to mention one more thing about Pettersson, DeBrusk, and Besser, especially since Calder Kid PD brought it up. You hear a lot of rhetoric right now among fans and media about DeBrusk, Pettersson, and Besser. It's not working. Tocchet should split them up. Even got one comment here, I believe from Greener, saying DeBrusk, Chytil, and Garland as a line. So we're hearing a lot about changing up the lineup. My 2 cents on that is, Kyle, you and I gave Tocchet criticism for this, and we heard it from fans as well about changing up the lines almost too quickly and not sticking for something for a period of time. DeBrusk, Pettersson, and Besser have been together for a few games, but they haven't been together that long. I think that Tocchet should give these guys a bit more of a leash. And I know that's asking a lot because the Canucks are on a precipice of a wild card spot, but I want to see these guys together for a stretch to give them a legit chance to see if they can develop some chemistry. I do think there were some positive signs in the third period against the Red Wings, albeit a tired team on the second night of back-to-backs. I do want to see if these guys can develop some chemistry because you have your other 3 lines going. They were all going last night. I mean, if you get that kind of play from lines 2, 3, and 4, you just need your top line to step up and get the job done. I think the Canucks got to stick with DeBrusk, Besser, and Pettersson. Let them get some chemistry, figure out who the F1 is on the forecheck, figure out who's going to go find the soft spots in the slot, and see if they can make it work as a line for the next 6, 7, 8 games. And if it's truly not working, then change it up. But I think you got to give these guys some rope to see if they can be a legit number 1 line.
And look at this comment from Matt, okay? It's relatable to what Trevor just said. And I know Matt does the most talking on this program. I don't know, like, who knows what this, like, who knows who Matt is? This guy, Bob McKenzie, watching the most hockey in the world. Okay, this guy's saying that the Jets' number 1 line is so good because they have developed chemistry. changing lines too much is sometimes worse. Again, I kind of see like where some people are coming at when it comes to where Pettersson's playing in the lineup, because it was not that long ago where he was playing better with Höglander and Karlsson, and right away he got switched up because Miller got traded. All in all, though, I think you're right, Trevor. I think you're right. You just gotta hold on to Besser and DeBrusque, Pettersson, and just hope they find something, right? Like, this is why you signed DeBrusque, right? To like to mend with Elias Pettersson, to like join forces with them. And right now you're putting the pressure on Brock Besser to like earn a contract, prove your worth, do all this. Like Pettersson's on that boat too. Like, let these guys figure it out. Let these guys lead the team. Fill the void. I believe. It's hard to believe, but I just want it to happen, man. I want it to happen tonight. I just want it to happen tonight, Trevor. Again, we need the 2 points. We only got one against Detroit. It was a good game. We played really well, but the Colorado's a different beast. I know that they're not the best team in the league this year, but they're a different beast, and I expect them to bring their best tonight, especially without Quinn Hughes. And I just want to see Pettersson lock it down. I really do.
Yep, 100%. And again, the Avalanche right now, I watched a good chunk of that game against the Flyers on the weekend. I mean, the Flyers are not the scariest hockey team in the world, but I think one of the big storylines heading into this game is Mackenzie Blackwood has a 2-game shutout streak that he's bringing into this contest.
Right.
I have to see if he's
Thanks, bro.
or not, but I'd be a little surprised if he wasn't starting in this game. But that's Mackenzie Blackwood. I do want to get to the GOATs of the week before we end off the show here on Locked On Canucks. So let's get to it. The GOATs of the week from last week on Locked On Canucks. All right, this is our GOATs of the week segment where we rank the best Canucks from the last week. And man, oh man, they played 4 games last week. Trying to remember them off the top of my head. There was the win over St. Louis, the win over Nashville, the loss to Dallas, and the overtime loss to the Detroit Red Wings. So let's go through it quick. Number 5, Thatcher Demko. We played 2 games last week. Wasn't stellar against Dallas, but he gets on the list because he basically single-handedly beat the Nashville Predators in my eyes. It was one of the best Demko performances we've seen in some time. Hopefully a sign of things to come. I know the Stars game, that was a bit more discombobulated because it wasn't really facing the volume in the shots. Yeah, Canucks shut it down, and the Stars ended up capitalizing on their opportunities, a couple odd man rushes. Number 4, I have Nils Höglander. He's got that tenacity back in his game right now, and I think Nils Höglander is potentially pushing for a spot up the lineup. But the forward depth on this team isn't bad, right? High floor, not bad forward depth. I don't mind Höglander working for it, but he's playing better in his minutes right now. Number 3, I have Pius Suter. He got back in the goal scoring column. Looks like I think he had 3 goals in 4 games last week, 2 goals in 4 games. He's looking fine in his role. Number 2, Connor Garland. He got back in the scoring column as well. He had 3 goals in 4 games. And number 1, it's always this guy, Quinn Hughes, 5 points in 3 games. 15 weeks so far in the NHL season for the Canucks on GOATs of the week here. Quinn Hughes has been the GOAT of the week in 8 of 15 weeks, which is hard to believe that he's not the number 1 every week. But he's been the number 1 for the last 4 weeks in a row.
Yeah, there you go. Obviously. Yeah, how many points does Elias Pettersson have on the GOATs of the week rankings?
Yeah, so he kind of piled them up in November, but just to give you the list right now, Elias Pettersson is 5th with 14 points. And just in case you're just tuning in, number 1 gets 5 points for the week, number 2 gets 4th, so on and so forth. But Elias Pettersson, 14 points overall, and that included a first place spot in week 5 of the season in November, where he started to tear it up again. So 5 of his 14 points came in 1 week. But he's 5th right now, and behind the other 4 by quite a bit. So I have Quinn Hughes, number 1 by a lot. Kevin Lankin is 2nd with 33 points. Garland, 3rd with 30. Sherwood, 4th with 22 points. Pettersson, 5th with 14 points. And again, and look at the rest of the Canucks. Brock Besser, he's only got 5 points for under GOATs of the week rankings this season. He's had some good stretches, but he hasn't been a game breaker for the Vancouver Canucks. Jake DeBrusque just has 7 points. He's 10th overall in our GOAT rankings. Nils Höglander, who has 4 goals, is actually higher up the ranking. Again, this is measuring on a week-to-week basis who's the best Canuck. And, Besser and DeBrusque have been good in stretches, but they've been incredibly inconsistent overall.
Yep. The Canucks, man, have been inconsistent. And yeah, there's a lot going on.
A lot going on.
Almost wheezing there. Almost had a little cough there. Anyways, last comment. I want to get into this, and me and Calder PD Turkey, whatever this guy's name is, I think we're gonna get at it, man. Okay, this comment comes from Calder Kid PD, okay? So what I'm trying to say is that it's a team game, okay? If the guys Pettersson is playing with can't put the puck in the net, how is that his fault? And I thought that Chytil should be playing with DeBrusk and Besser. Dude, okay, I understand the sentiment. I really do. But it's been a year. And Pettersson has, like, probably less than 20 goals in his last 90 games. He had 1 goal in the playoffs, too. Like, that's gonna like stain the mouths and like the hearts of a lot of Canucks fans. Okay, 1 goal in the playoffs, if that's true or not. 1 or 2 goals. It was probably 1, to be honest. Like, this guy was so invisible in the playoffs, and then he tallies up this season that's been full of chaos. Like, he hasn't helped this team out at all. It feels like that. Picking up points. Like, we should be ahead of the Calgary Flames. If he was 25% better, came into camp in better shape, dude, we'd be in a better spot. And it's okay to put pressure on him to lead the team. Like, there's got to be leaders. Not like, I get that it's a team sport, but not everyone's the same. Not everyone's the same. And when you talk all this ish about signing for 11.6 because you want to make more money than a William Nylander, quote unquote, like you want to be the highest paid Swedish player, like you want that pressure, you want that smoke, you want that accolade. It's time to back it up. And now it's a sensitive time because of the whole Miller thing. And it's like, I believe he can do it, but if this season is going to feature playoff hockey in April where I'm eating chicken wings, right, with my father and enjoying that time with them, dude, all Pettersson has to do is be 25% better. And right now we don't have Quinn Hughes, and it just be like, it's okay for us to expect once in a while that Mr. 11.6 puts the team on his back. I know it's a team sport, but Pettersson, just carry us.
Man, oh man, hopefully that's the case. I'm going to give the last comment to Greener here on Locked On Canucks, your Canucks every day. Greener saying the locker room is a mess. Talks about the team meeting that they had after Game 3 about JT and PD. Things don't fix themselves in a night. And hey, hopefully that's the case. JT Miller's been gone from this team for what, 96 hours now? It has not been a long time. So let's see how Pettersson plays over the next few games in the Four Nations, heading up to the trade deadline. Let's give him some time. Let's hopefully give Pettersson, DeBrusk, and Besser some time. I like the Chytil-Garland combo. Let's see what this team can do starting tonight in Colorado. Whether it's a win or it's a loss, it's always go Canucks go, as always here on Locked On Canucks. So shout out to you and you and you, whether you're an everyday or an occasional listener, first-time listener, a new subscriber, or you join us on the live show on YouTube, wherever you're listening, whenever you're listening. We appreciate the hell out of you for tuning in to Locked On Canucks. If you like what we're doing, go subscribe, like the video on YouTube. Help Kyle and I go get some chicken wings and beer for tonight's game on the podcast side. Oh, baby, go follow us and leave a 5-star review. For now, we got to get out of here. I'm Trevor Beggs. That guy's Cal Bound, and you've been listening to Locked On Canucks.
Oh, yeah, the NBA forced the Luka Doncic trade because we made the JT Miller trade, and they're trying to compete with the NHL. That's the comparable.
You're Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.